You're listening to Mr. Suave at MrSuave.com.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Grab a mip, mop, and a brim, bram, broom. Clim, clam, clean up the rim, ram room. Cause your bim, bam baby is getting back tonight.
It's as wild as the way out world of rock and roll millionaires and go-go girls.
You are listening to Mr. Suave's Mod World at MrSuave.com and on modradiok.net.
Interrupting all programs. It's a Mod World.
What are you doing here?
I'm only doing what I have to do.
When I hear a voice, I go weak at the knees. You know I got no choice. It takes me back to my teens. And she knows that she's got it all going on. And I know I'm not the only one who hopes she might fall for me. She's got it all going on. 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 When I see her walk, I fall under a spell. Can't think, can't talk, and she knows very well that all men are basically the same. They don't do their thinking with their brain, and she just likes to drive them insane. She's got it all going on. 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 She's got it all going on.
The Sexual Freedom League may not have all the answers, but at least they're groping for them.
Here he is, a man who has done more for the mod scene than the Titanic did for the winter cruise business. Mr. Suave.
Indeed, she does have it all going on. Welcome to Modcast number 512. I played that song right there in tribute to my guest who will be joining me shortly. The song, She's Got It All, is by mod supergroup Speakeasy. It's from their second album, 2013's Trouble. When I say supergroup, I really mean it in a lot of ways. They're a supergroup. I'm sure you can tell that from that track right there, but they're also super in that they boast players from some of the biggest, greatest mod revival acts to have ever graced an all-nighter or strutted down the King's Road. Folks like Simon Stebbing from Purple Hearts, Mark Legall of The Risk, Buddy Ascot from The Chords, Ian Jones of Long Tall Shorty. They've done a lot of collaboration with folks like Faye Hallam of Making Time and Mike Evans from The Action. That's a pretty storied group of mod musicians right there. So this is one of those cases where I think it's really honest to say supergroup. It's not an overstatement. Speakeasy. Check them out. As always, you can get the full track list for the Modcast over on the Modcast homepage at MrSuave.com. Don't be a stranger. Let me know what you think of the show. Requests, complaints, whatever. I just love to hear from listeners. You can hit me up there or find me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. But not TikTok. Never TikTok. As I mentioned, the opener was in honor of my upcoming guest on this Modcast, Simone Berk, lead singer for a great power pop band from Boston, Kid Gulliver. If you aren't familiar with Kid Gulliver, then you're in for a treat when you check out their stuff. Their latest album, Kismet, from Red on Red Records. It's a fun listen, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Anyhow, she'll be coming along in just a moment to chat about all sorts of things. Right now, though, I'm going to play one of my favorite Kid Gulliver songs right off that record. Who doesn't want to be a pop star, right?
I dare you both to come down here and entertain.
We should.
Oh, yeah? Do you sing?
No.
Do you dance?
No.
Can you get laughs?
No.
Then what would you do?
Just what you're doing.
Hi, I'm Linda from the Chelsea Curve, and you're listening to Mr. Suave's Mod World at MrSuave.com.
All right. Joining me today is Simone Berk from Kid Gulliver, and I'm excited to have her on the show because I've been listening to the band for a couple of years. So welcome, Simone. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. That's a nice intro.
Well, you deserve it. I've been listening to you guys for a couple of years, and I've just really loved everything that I've heard. I found you probably the beginning of the pandemic. You know, we were locked down, and all I was doing was listening to music, and I just got really excited. I've been following you ever since then. So you guys have been around for a little while, though. You're not, a new band, really, are you?
No. Actually, we've been around for over 10 years. I can't explain the trajectory of a band. Why it goes really, really slow until it doesn't. I feel like we were working towards the point that we are now, but there was sort of a perfect storm. And honestly, I have to say, as awful as this sounds, the pandemic did work for us in a way. At the beginning of the pandemic, we had just released Susie Survived Chemotherapy, and I was really surprised. I had no concept of PR or blogs or anything. I had a really quick education that continues to go straight up. There's a lot to learn, but blog in Europe really loved it and sent it around. That person, Lindsay Hutton from The Next Big Thing in Scotland, he's become a really good friend since, but he took a real shine to that song and to our band, and he sent it around. And not surprisingly, now that I know a little bit more about music in Europe, they love these kind of off-the-wall music, subject matter that isn't typical. There are stations that wouldn't play Susie Survived Chemotherapy,
right, because
of just the title. I mean, it's a story with a happy ending. It's not, nobody dies, but it was a little too something. And in Europe, they love that something. Whatever that something is, that's what they love. So that's the dream, right? That you put out music and people listen. And it's been we've been on a roll since then. We started really spending a lot of time working on video. The recording has always been, since we started in 2014, started recording, that has been incredibly important to me, that the quality of the recording be as good as it can possibly be.
It shows.
Well, thanks. My much beloved friend and producer, Brian Charles, who has worked on everything that we've done, but also stuff that I've done in my solo project. So I've known him for a long time. He gets me and he gets us. And so my feeling has always been, I didn't want to just sound like a local band. I wanted it to be as good as anything really that was out there anywhere. But if people weren't going to like us as a band, if they weren't going to like our music, okay, that's fine. You're obviously entitled. I didn't want them to not like it because it sounded bad.
Right.
I wanted them to make a decision about whether, this isn't my cup of tea. Okay, that's fine. Power pop is not for everybody. 3-minute, 30-second song is not everybody's taste, but that's fine. I just didn't want anybody to say, God, that video was bad. God, that song is produced so badly. Everything looks bad. Everything sounds bad. The graphics are bad. Everything, I kind of had this vision of Kid Gulliver as a thing, as a whole thing.
Yeah, a whole package.
Yes.
It shows. It's amazing when you find bands that put out stuff. I hear things, I'm like, wow, that's, I'm not a musician myself. I'm a listener. And I like to think musicians need me too. Because but I listen and it's surprising. It's like, why would you have recorded that if it sounds so bad? But your package, Kid Gulliver, is the whole thing. That's something that they like in Europe is the something that I like, which I think is your, I guess, wanting to be totally professional and trying to put out the perfect recording and doing the best job. And it shows. The songs are tight. You guys sound good. Your voice mixing with the music, I don't know, there was something about it. Last year you did that cover of the Bee Gees. I started a joke, and I loved that. I thought your vocals on that were really great.
That is a challenging song to sing.
Really?
Well, sure. Look who was singing it. Their voices are much higher than mine, and I've got a high voice, but nothing like the Bee Gees. So, doing that song live, especially, like, I know I don't have too many chances to make this sound good.
Right.
You're always hopeful. Am I going to be able to do it? Because you just never know what's going to happen. But that song really struck a chord with people. It's really Rodney Bingenheimer really loved that song.
He has good taste.
Well, it's just it's funny. You never know what is going to strike somebody's fancy. And I think it's a great song. Of course I do. And it's great when they do it, and we do it in an entirely different way, which is what we try to do with covers in general. But I didn't know that people were going to really dig it as much as they do. And I'm ashamed to say I didn't even know that song before we covered it.
Well, it's great to discover something new to you, right?
Yes.
And then get to work with it a little bit. But like I was saying, your total package, you talked about doing videos. I love your videos. Your latest video, You'll Never Know. That's a great video. I enjoy a lot. I love the song. I didn't realize until recently that's an older song of yours.
It is.
Yeah. How did you come about to do that video with the VR headsets?
All right. So in general, I come up with the video concepts. I'm not a director, but there are times that I do some direction. I worked with Roger Metcalf, who is the video director, on this video, and also on the I Started a Joke video, and also on Stupid Little Girl video. We've worked on several videos together. On the other two, I had the concept. But when it came time to do this one, we met for coffee, and I said, I gotta tell you, I'm burnt. I don't have a single creative idea in my head right now. My father had died, and we were working on new music. I was juggling 100,000 things at the same time, booking shows, and the stuff of being in a band.
Right.
And I just said to him, I'm burnt out. I don't have a single idea. And he said, okay, I have an idea. And I said, okay, well, we'll show up and you do your idea. And I've never done that, especially in the realm of video before. But I honestly, it was just one of those moments that I just was like, I can't think, period. And we had a great time filming that video. That was super, super fun. It was the first video that we did with our new drummer and bass player. So that was fun in its own way.
Right.
And then some other Red on Red friends who came to dance in the video ended up on pedestals and whatnot, dancing and everything.
Yeah. It looked like you're having fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. And because I was working with a team that I had worked with before, it was not a stressful situation for me. What was stressful was that the deadline, we were doing a show that we were going to debut that video at the show, and I didn't see the finished video until Saturday morning, and the show was Saturday night. So I was kind of a mess for the week. Really had to put my trust in him, and it turned out great. I mean, I would never have thought of that. So it's great to let somebody else
come up with it.
Yeah.
What were you watching in these VR headsets while you guys are playing?
Oh, nothing. Because
Nothing?
I could
Okay.
barely know. I got so disoriented wearing those headsets, and I don't know. I don't have a very small head. I have a big head, but they wouldn't stay on my head. And I felt like the walls were closing in. And so we weren't watching anything.
That's funny. Well, I got a headset for Christmas for my wife.
Uh-huh.
I went out on a limb and I thought, I'm just going to do this and see. And she loved it. And I tried it. And it's pretty amazing when you see the virtual reality, like you're walking through a forest somewhere and it really seems like it. I know some people do get disoriented by them, but you guys, it looked so cool. And I thought, man, what are they watching in there?
Well,
because they're
we're
playing and you're dancing and you're singing. And
it's the alternate reality in which we're on stage with thousands of fans and people are dancing on pedestals, like the world in which Kid Gulliver rules all, which I hope is actually coming and isn't going to be VR forever. But
right.
It was a super fun video shoot. I would say the most fun, just from, to be honest, the fun perspective, was the Stupid Little Girl video. That video we laughed all day long. It was so ridiculous. It was not serious at all. Fortunately for me, I feel no embarrassment ever. So doing that video was not uncomfortable for me.
I haven't seen the video. I know the song.
Goodness. Yes.
And it's an interesting song.
Well, the video is actually very much what the song is about. So
okay.
If that gives you an idea, it was just hilariously funny.
Well, I will post it on the Modcast homepage at mrsuave.com, and people can check it out there. And I'm going to, as soon as we're done now, of course, first thing I have to do is go watch this video. But I wanted to find out a little bit about what has inspired you, with your music. And so I asked you, as we were getting ready for this, to come up with a few songs that inspired you or got you started on your journey. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll play those right now and come back in just a minute and we can talk about them in a second. How's that?
Sounds great.
All right. I'm with Simone Berk from Kid Gulliver, and we're going to hear a few of the songs that she really likes.
Here you go, way too fast. Don't slow down, you're gonna crash. You should watch your step. Don't look out, gonna break your neck. So shut your mouth, 'cause I'm not listening anyhow. I had enough of Maybe someday when now you're gone, when I do as I please, I'm no different to me. Am I crazy or have good luck? You're the talk of the town, so you say. I don't know why you're so glad when mine is filled with sorrow. So maybe if I fade away, there'll be no sad tomorrow. My whole life is a drag. If you listen to me, will I go away? Will you care? I feel naked and weird. Do you see what I hear? Maybe one day I'll die. Who cares? Hide away in complete misery. I don't know why you're so glad when my head's filled with sorrow. So maybe if I fade away, there'll be no sad tomorrow. Hide away in complete misery. I don't know why you're so glad when my head's filled with sorrow. So maybe if I fade away, there'll be no sad tomorrow. Be no sad tomorrow. Be no sad tomorrow.
I'm sober enough to know what I'm doing, and I'm drunk enough to really enjoy doing it.
You just heard a few songs that I guess might be properly called favorites of Simone. Are those some of your favorite songs, right?
They are. And so I chose some songs that are all in the power pop vein. I love them. I love a short song. Maybe it's just my short attention span, but I feel like a short song with a lot of punch is ideal for me. I also feel that way about a set. A short set with a lot of punch is better than a long set with a lot of pauses. Personally, I prefer 35-minute sets. I would rather leave people wanting more than looking at their watch. That's just me. But
right.
I love power pop as a genre and am so in awe of that kind of writing. And I don't know if you know this, but David, who is the guitar player in our band, is the songwriter in Kid Gulliver. I'm the Mariah in this band, but he's the songwriter and he does all the music stuff. I have my own project, but it's mopier and more melancholy, which is really my natural state. But he has always been a fan of power pop, and I think he's been writing songs for years and years and years. And I think what happened was he was writing these really deep and meaningful songs to him, and he would go play them at the bar, and of course nobody would listen because who cares, right? And then he said, well, I'm just going to write something really stupid, and people loved it. So he was like, I think he wrote "I Like Your Hair," and people were like, "Oh, we love this song." Or he wrote "Susie," and people were like, "Oh, Susie, is she okay?" And he was like, "I don't know why I'm spending all this time writing these things that nobody is listening to when I can write these 3-minute songs." But he really undervalues his writing. He is a great writer of lyrics, but also his hooks are just
Yes, the songs are full of that. People like a good story. They like the lyrics, of course, but there's a musical story too. And when they fit together so perfectly, it's kind of magical. And you've got a number of those songs. He tells a great story. I mean, that's what often power pop is, right? It's stories about love and relationships and cars and silly things sometimes.
He's got a lot of those too. We haven't gotten to the car songs yet, but I'm sure that's coming. I think it's easy to understand why people would think that I have written those songs, because that they are so suited to my voice in their way that it sounds like it must have come from me. But it's just one of those weird, this chemistry thing that
Yes.
he wrote something that he was convinced that I could sing, even when I wasn't. I thought this music is not for me because, as I said, I was doing more shoegazy, mopey stuff that he was in my band called Sugar Snow. He was in my band, and that sort of reached its natural end. And he's like, "You really need to sing my songs. You have so much attitude in life, but not when you sing." And I was like, "Well, when I sing, that's really, I feel like that's more of the real me in a way." And he said, "Yeah, but this is also the real you."
Well, you
So
know how to deliver his songs,
it
and
took a
it's
long
a
time, though.
performance, right?
It is,
And
and it took a long, long time because the first shows were freaking awful. I will never pretend that they were good. They were not. I was not good for a long time, and
practice makes perfect.
well, I'm sure that has a lot to do with the trajectory of our band because I was just so bad and self-conscious at the beginning. But I think you get older. I've gotten older. I care much less what people think about me, and I'm more comfortable in my own skin. And we have these great songs. I believe in this band. So, I put my whole heart into it. And it seemed like once we started recording, we hit our stride. I think being in the studio was really where it started. But to get to the studio, to get to those 3-minute songs, were songs like Crash by the Primitives.
Right.
One of David's favorite songs of all time is Crash by the Primitives. And when you listen to it, and if you look at it on a piece of paper, it's not complicated. It's not a complicated song at all. And that is part of what makes it so great. It's the same chords that many other songs use.
Simple,
but they just captured something with that song.
And it's timeless. It still sounds like, contemporary, actually.
Yeah. And that's the hope. I mean, I think that power pop actually does do that more than many genres, that you can hear that 10 years after. Well, for instance, You'll Never Know was recorded in 2014. I think it sounds like, and people do think that we just recorded it.
Yeah. Right. Especially with the new video, it seems like this must be new, and it sounds totally today. And like the music that you're doing right now, that the newer songs maybe are in the same vein. Of course, I know she chose 3 songs with female singers or groups, right? Crash by the Primitives, and Sad Tomorrow by them. Kim Shattuck. I mean,
she inspires me still, always. Talking about unapologetic. She was exactly who she was. She believed 100% in what she was doing, rightfully.
Right.
She had a band that understood her and believed that she knew what she was doing, and they put their trust in her, and she did know. And she doesn't have any bad songs.
Yeah, they had real chemistry. That was a gut punch when she passed away. And I was reading about after the fact that last album from like 2019, No Holiday, she recorded part of it from bed. She was in bed. She couldn't get out. And I thought, wow, how, dedicated is that? At the last second there, she's still doing what she loves. And
it was probably one of the things that was keeping her going as well.
Yeah, that's true. Right.
That was her music, was her life. That's what she did. It's not the only thing she was, obviously, but that is what she did. And I am sure that she was in the middle of something and had to finish it.
Right.
And she wasn't going to leave it undone. If she could finish it, she was going to finish it. It is a tragic loss, and a really horrible illness.
Yes,
Lou
Gehrig's disease. Yeah.
Yes, it's especially horrible way for a musician to die, unfortunately. But Sad Tomorrow was the first Muff song that I ever heard.
Oh yeah, what a great song and great video.
Yes, well, I still want to do that video myself. I can't figure out a way to do that video without people saying, well, this is the Sad Tomorrow video. We know this is the Sad Tomorrow video, but I love that video and its simplicity and it's perfect and everything. But the song itself is perfect. And her voice, what I love about her voice is that she doesn't have a vibrato in her voice at all. Her voice is very out there, out there, which is also the way I sing. And the singers that I like the most are no vibrato, straight out there, which is a lot harder of a way to sing, because if you hit a bum note, everybody knows it. You can hear it. She just never does. And it is like a gift listening to her songs, listening to her sing. It just...
Voices like that are very honest.
Agreed. And I think that's probably why I sort of gravitate towards those voices most specifically. But she is exceptional. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. She's exceptional. So, and then the other one.
A slightly different voice and a more upbeat moment here. Buttercup, I'm a Supergirl by Shona Knife. I was not familiar with this song, so thank you. It's new to me, and it's
great.
It's from just a couple of years ago, and they've been around since like the early 80s. Yeah, and I've never been a huge fan of theirs. I've heard them on and off over the years, but I don't know a lot. And after hearing that, I thought, man, I'm late to this party, and I need to go back. And lucky me, it's going to be all new to me, a lot of it.
Right.
So
but
that's a great song.
I love it. I always think if I of course, that's like the fantasy, right, is to be the superhero, especially, Powerpuff Girls, knocking people in the nose and all that. But I always thought, if I were a professional wrestler, I would want that to be my entrance music. That's the way I think of that song, that it's so, here I am. I'm strong and invincible, and I'm woman, and I just love it. It puts me in a great mood. If that's one of the songs that I go to if I'm having a bad day, it's a picker upper for sure. It's hard to listen to Shona Knife and not smile.
Right.
I saw them some years back with Marky Ramone. They did a show together, and they were phenomenal. I mean, so good. I think I had my mouth hanging open through the whole show. They were just great. So I'm glad you're going to start visiting the world of Shona Knife. You will not be sorry.
We're going to visit a few songs a little bit more recent, I think. And I asked you what you're listening to right now, what was in heavy rotation at Simone's house, and you came up with these three. So let's take a listen and we'll talk about those too.
She's got a certain kind of smile, the kind that really speaks to me, makes my life seem more worthwhile, lifts me up and sets me free. Now I'm strong like Superman, since she came into my world, and her wish is my command. She's a very special girl.
thought I'd at least get to have some crazy European sex.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard DC-10 Flight 1313. We will be cruising at a height of 25,000 feet and airspeed of 600 miles per hour. Headphones will be provided on request for a varied program of in-flight music. Have a good flight.
You are listening to Mr. Suave's Mod World, the web's longest-running modcast, online at mrsuave.com and on modradiouk.net.
All right, those are a few of the songs that you're listening to right now. They are, well, they're fantastic. They all fit together. The Luckiest Man in the World by Speed Fossil. That's a great tune.
It is so catchy. I love Garrett's songwriting. He's a friend as well. We're both on the label, but also is a friend. He is one of the most detail-oriented musicians that I know. And if you listen to his songs, then you kind of get that, because there are so many parts and layers, and so much thought has gone into everything that he does. And those things are great. But what's great about this song is it's just so catchy. It's so good. It's such a love song. And love songs are super hard to write. They, without sounding really trite or creepy or well, it's
a lot of traps to fall into with love songs.
Yeah.
Sappy or
it's much easier to write a song about being unhappy than it is to writing a song about being happy. It just is. There's more drama in being unhappy than there is about being happy. And, in general, people are like, I don't care if you're happy. I'm not happy, so who cares if you're happy? Garrett just hit it with this song. And I was fortunate enough to get a test pressing of the vinyl from him. And God, when I heard it on vinyl, I was like, damn it, this is so good. I'm very proud to know him and to be on the label with him, to have played shows and hopefully in the future play shows with him. Very proud to call him my friend. But that song, it's just a fantastic song.
Before that was Pure and Easy by The Neighborhoods.
Yes.
Another one that I wasn't familiar with.
Now, do you know The Neighborhoods?
I don't.
Okay, so this is a lesson in Boston rock history. The Neighborhoods are everything, basically. In this town, they were the kings of the scene, and rightfully so. David Minahan, who is the writer and lead singer in The Neighborhoods, is no longer doing Neighborhoods music. He owns a recording studio called Woolly Mammoth, where a lot of people record. Justine and the Unclean records there. A lot of it's been around for a long time, and a lot of people record there. So he's an amazing producer as well. But he was legendary as a live performer. If you ever saw him perform live back in the day, but even into the early aughts, you can't even describe how mesmerizing he was on stage. I have had the pleasure of meeting him, chatting with him. We're friends, and he is a very mild-mannered, very kind, loves his grandchildren, loves his job kind of guy, who is an entirely different person on stage. And he could sell me any song. It wouldn't matter to me. Live, he could play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I'd be like, I love that song, because he did it. He's amazing. And I highly recommend going back and listening to his stuff, but I also recommend watching live footage of their shows. Lee Harrington, who was the bass player in that band, played bass on a bunch of Kid Gulliver recordings, and he does his own music. He has some music with Linda Mandolin that they've put out.
Yes.
This scene is a little bit small, so we kind of all get to know each other here, but they're exceptional. And that song is so good. It's like a put the top down on your convertible and drive kind of song. And I just love it. It doesn't feel like it was recorded. I don't even know when it was recorded, because it feels so current to me. it's just fantastic. And I, in some ways, I envy you because you're going to hear the neighborhoods really for the first time now.
Right.
And I wish I could hear them for the first time in a way.
I'm looking forward to it because that was a great song. I enjoyed it. And now I'm like, okay, I've heard the name probably in the past, but I didn't really know much about them and just had not popped up in my wheelhouse, I guess, for some reason. Should have.
I think they were well known in their own right, but David went on to play with the Replacements.
Okay.
He toured playing guitar and singing with the Replacements. So I think that introduced another generation of people to his stuff.
Yeah. We'll get back to the scene in a second because I have a question about that. But I wanted to ask about Carousel. Tell me a little bit about that song.
Carousel is one of the first songs that David ever sent me. And I think he did that because it sort of, fit in with my own melancholic tendencies. It was a demo when he sent it to me. And the lyrics of that song are just so powerful to me. And it's so beautiful. And I remember when we recorded it, it has lots of layers. It's very lush. It has.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah, it's got a lot going on in a good way. And I remember looking at him in the studio, and he was actually crying because it was the way he heard it in his head. Nice. And it's something that doesn't happen a lot in life, that you imagine something and that's the way it is now, because that's the way it is now. It's out in the world. That's the way it is. And I am so moved by that song still. It's one of my very favorite songs to play live and one of my favorite songs to sing live. And that song has really struck a chord with people. That song and Boy in a Bubble really, those kind of sad and mopey people like me really enjoy those two songs. The people who are not so sad and mopey like Susie survived chemotherapy. So, it takes all kinds.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorite songs to play as well. It's a great song. And it is a song that I think shows the depth of David's songwriting. It's not just, the silly 3-minute pop song, which is nothing wrong with that. But this is, I think, a step beyond that.
Yeah.
It's still poppy, but there's a lot more happening.
Right. Is it on the Kismet album, your Kismet album?
It is. And Kismet, so what Kismet actually is an EP that we did called Gimme Some Go, which had 4 songs on it. And then it's sort of almost a greatest hits record, the greatest hits record for a band that people don't know. Let's put it that way. So we went back and picked songs that we liked, although we left I Like Your Hair off there, and I don't know how that happened. But we added a bunch of songs, and it goes in chronological order backwards.
Okay.
So the earliest song is at the end.
Okay. It's a great album. And
thank you.
Your songs come up while I'm listening, and you don't always, these days when you're listening, especially, from your iPhone or whatever, you don't always know what album something is from,
right?
Which is why I was asking, but that's a great album and people should rush out and get it if they haven't already. It's in heavy rotation here.
Oh, great.
Often.
I agree. Go get it.
Yeah. So you were mentioning the scene in Boston, and I suppose it's all over New England, right? Do you live in Boston?
I actually split my time between Boston and Vermont.
Okay.
So I spent the entire pandemic up here in Vermont. That's where I am right now. I mean, and these are opposite worlds. I mean, I live in the city, and then up here, I live in the woods. I can't see anybody. There are no neighbors to see. I mean, they're close, but they're not visible. We're pretty isolated. It's perfect, really. Really is good for creativity and for the resting of the pinball machine brain that I have, where things are always, going. Yes, in the city. I would say the last few years, especially, the scene has changed because I think people have just sort of gotten older, and with the pandemic, they're just so thankful to be out, and it's not, people are not resentful of other people's success in the way that they have been in the past. People are supportive. They go to shows. It's I think what happened is that before the pandemic, I messaged a bunch of women, Justine and Linda Pardee from Chelsea Curve, Linda Mandolin, Linnea Herzog, so just a bunch of women from town. And it was really this very like cheating way of trying to book shows. Basically, if you guys are booking shows and you're looking for a band, just let me know and I will do the same. And it started this sort of group thread that turned into a traveling tour of all these bands. And we called it Whistle Stop Rock. And so we had multiple shows scheduled for all of the spring and into the summer to tour. We did 2 shows before the pandemic happened. Yeah, it was. I think we canceled 8 shows, I want to say. But it was literally like the entire group of bands was going from place to place and playing the whole thing. It was great. And a lot of those bands are now Red on Red Records bands. So Justine Koval, who started Red on Red Records, was one of the people that I contacted for Justine and the Unclean, saying, let's do a show. And during the pandemic, she said, you know what, I'm going to start this label and please come be on it. And I was like, okay, you don't have to ask me twice. And then other bands from that group also joined. And that's kind of how we got together. So it's like a scene that we made, but inadvertently, in which we're all like genuinely excited for each other. And we really do go to each other's shows. I mean, I get that on, social media, you're presenting this, you're presenting your best face, obviously, because people don't want to hear about your misery. And that's the truth. They just, and nor should they. I mean, everybody's got stuff in their life. You don't have to necessarily broadcast it, but it can look like, oh, things look so perfect over there. Everybody's so happy for each other. Sadly, we really are that way. We are really happy for each other. We do go to each other's shows. We do wear each other's stuff. We do repost each other's things. It is actually quite sincere. And I feel incredibly lucky. But I do also think that it's a renaissance of middle-aged women. We're past the point of raising young children. We have time and the energy and the drive to do really, really good shit. And that's what we're doing. So much good stuff coming out from people who are supposed to be invisible at this age.
Good. Lucky for us. I mean, that's good to hear that there's going to be more music coming.
Lots.
As you were growing up and getting into music, did you ever go through a mod phase? This is a mod show. I'm an old mod guy. I always ask people if they had a mod phase.
Okay, so I grew up in the suburbs of Cleveland, and the short answer is no, because I was forced to listen to classic rock and stadium rock. I guess you would call it stadium rock, like Journey and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So when I actually started listening to music outside of that arena, I found college radio. So it wasn't like I listened to the Jam, because you have to listen to the Jam. If you listen to college radio, it's on there.
Right.
That was pretty current at that point. But it was what they call the New Romantics time in England, New Wave, as we call it here. That changed my life. New Wave music saved me, for sure. When I heard Squeeze for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing when I heard XTC, when I heard Duran Duran, when I heard all of those bands that I still have records of and I still listen to. So mod became something that I understood more about later. It was England.
Yeah.
That, the UK, that I really found that power pop
vibe.
Place. Yeah. That you could find only on college radio in Cleveland, for sure. And the thrill for me is that the station that I used to listen to plays my music now, which is
nice.
Yeah, which is just, it tickles me. Kind of makes me cry too. It's kind of really nice. And I'm so thankful for college radio still. Here in Boston, there's a lot of it, and they really do embrace us, and independent radio, not just college. But that is what saved me. And then there was MTV.
Yeah. Right. MTV
So
changed our generation. For
it sure did. But then I was listening to bands on college radio that I then saw on MTV. It gave me a bigger sense of how much presentation matters.
Right.
I don't buy it when people say without their looks, Duran Duran wouldn't have been a big band. They were an excellent band and still are. Depeche Mode, excellent band and still are. But they, at that time, also had that something. And that changed a lot for me. That I paid attention to that a lot more than I was aware. Not just what people were wearing, but the way that they made their videos and the way that they were when they were being interviewed, and whether they were a character or a real person. Now that doesn't matter so much. Be what you are. I don't care. But then as a high school kid living in the suburbs, I was just mesmerized, absolutely mesmerized. It's like, sincerely, it changed my life for sure.
I grew up in Southern California, and so I was very lucky. We had K-Rock,
right,
and Rodney on the Rock on Sunday nights. I mean, that was like college radio, turned up to 11 kind of.
Right.
And there was college radio there as well. You were in Cleveland,
right,
and you said you were forced to listen to Journey and arena rock stuff.
Yes.
So now you're not forced to listen to anything you don't want to, but
right.
Is there let's talk a guilty pleasure, or is there something that fans of Kid Gulliver would be shocked or surprised that you listen to?
Well, I don't believe in feeling guilty about music. Guilty. I mean, I actually don't believe in feeling guilty about much of anything. I think that, you only live once, and maybe something isn't the best choice, but feeling guilty is a whole other thing. That's a whole thing involving your parents. And
that's a whole other podcast.
Exactly. That's a different podcast. I have, from that era, for sure, I have stuff that I listen to regularly, like Heaven 17's Penthouse and Pavement is one of my favorite records. ABC's Lexicon of Love it's truly one of the most influential records in my life. And then
Lexicon of Love 2 came later. Have you listened to that?
I haven't.
You should check that out. A few years ago, they got back together essentially, and it picks up right where the first one left off. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that record has no weak spots.
Yeah,
that is a something that you can listen to from start to finish. You don't have to stop. You shouldn't stop. In fact, it's a story from start to finish. I just love it. But what I also do listen to is, now I listen to Led Zeppelin. Now I came to that stuff much later. I love Led Zeppelin. It's not the first thing that I would choose, but Led Zeppelin is definitely, I have a lot of Led Zeppelin records, I like all kinds of music now. If I'm trying to get motivated to write songs, there are certain bands that I will always listen to. Death Cab for Cutie, I will always listen to. He just inspires me in a lot of ways. His voice is also unadorned and honest, as you said. I listen to the Muffs when I want to get motivated. I will listen to the Muffs station on Pandora, which has Dressy Bessie on it, and all these fantastic bands, the Breeders, and those, they always motivate me, obviously. How could they not? But I love music. I feel so fortunate. And also I love to hear what my friends are doing, my friends here, and also the friends I've made abroad, listening to their music. And it's one of the joys of doing music now in the age of the internet, is you can make friends across the world and get to know people who are putting out amazing music. And
the world is much smaller now.
It is, but yes, but it's both bigger and smaller. I think that the amount of music that comes out is beyond comprehension.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have a chance of getting heard where you didn't before. It just takes a long time. It's not going to happen in one day. And it's a whole process. It's not this innocent, like some producer wanders into a club and sees you play. That doesn't happen anymore. If it did happen, it used to happen, but it doesn't happen now. And those labels don't really exist anyway.
Yeah.
To be honest, nobody's going to give anybody a development deal. That's not a thing anymore. But small labels give you the opportunity to get heard, and gives you a network. And that is really what it's all about. But it's more than that. It's about having fun. It's about making friends. It's about having adventures. It's about putting out great stuff that you're proud of.
You're speaking of adventures and putting stuff out.
Mhm.
I want to make sure to mention, you said you have a new single coming out.
We do.
In a couple of
We have
weeks, right?
Yes, yes. So we have a new single coming out on May 12th. It is called Nothing But Trouble. We really excited to share this one. It is coming out right before our last local show. We're playing in Providence, right before we go to Spain. We're doing a tour in Spain. This is a dream come true.
That's an adventure.
Oh, well, it sure is. And I can't believe it's happening. It's just something that I talked about, if I can be maudlin for a minute, when my father was in the hospital before he died. He and I traveled together a lot. And I said to him, you got to get out of the hospital because, and I don't even know why I said this, we're going to Europe next year. So you need to come. He said, okay, but make sure that you go. And he died very soon after that. And I feel like, and obviously he knew that he wasn't going to be able to go, but I feel like when we get there and we drink some sangria in his honor, it will be like he was there. Spain was his favorite place in the world.
Oh, nice.
So that's one of the reasons that I decided I want to go there. But also we have a following in Spain.
Great.
Which is nuts. It's nuts.
See how small the world is now?
I'm
right?
telling you, they love their power pop there.
Yeah.
They do. They love power pop there, but fully half of our Spotify streams are in Spain.
Wow.
And
that is,
yeah.
Hey, that's great.
It is. It's just crazy. It's a larger number of people than the US people, but they count US as a whole, Spain as a whole, so it's fewer cities. But the fact that we're going to go there and there will be an audience for us is oh my gosh, that's just mind-boggling.
You'll have a lot of fun.
Sure. I mean, even if all the shows fell through or we couldn't play for some reason, we'd still be in Spain. So
there's nothing wrong with that, right?
No, I can't complain. It's
after the last couple of years, it's nice to be able to get back on the road, so to speak.
Well, we've never done it before. We went to New York. We've played in New York, but we in Maine and in Providence, and around. But we have ever undertaken anything this large, and I planned this whole tour, so that has stretched my my organizational skills to an abnormal level for me. But I've made contacts there and everything is ready to go. So
that's great.
We're doing 3 shows. I can't wait. I can't believe it's happening. We have 2 shows between now and then.
Right.
As well.
Get tuned up.
We're really excited about both of those shows. And I have to say that the show that we're doing in Providence, it's a matinee at a club called Dusk, which is one of my favorite places to play. And we're doing that show with Mini Beast and with Night Spell. Night Spell is on the Red on Red label. And that's Shauna Carmody from Swirlies and Joyce from Scarce. That's their band. And then Mini Beast is Peter Prescott from Mission of Burma and Volcano Suns. That's his band. So I'm really excited to do that show with them. It's been a joy to actually just play on this show with them. They're just lovely people.
When is that?
So that is on May 15th, Sunday, May 15th, and we leave on the 18th.
Wow.
So,
all right. So if people are in Providence, you said?
Yeah, and Providence,
May 15th.
just for people who don't live in New England and have no concept of how small it is. I was shocked when I moved here from Ohio that you could go to all the states in one day.
Yeah, right.
Providence is 45 minutes from Boston. So while it's out of town, theoretically, it's an easy drive. It's a straight line,
right,
pretty much. And it's a Sunday afternoon, and there will be empanadas available for sale because I like people to have the option of food. And it's going to be a super fun show. I think music starts at 4 p.m. and that's a fun way to spend a Sunday afternoon. and then off we go a few days later.
And it's just before that. When does the single come out? When will it be
Yeah,
available?
on the 12th. That's the Thursday before.
Okay. And I'll put a link up to your Bandcamp page. Is that the best place to direct people?
Yes, you can direct them to my Bandcamp page, and also Red on Red Records Bandcamp page will be there, as well as all the other bands, and I recommend them. I know that you are a fan of the Chelsea Curve, as am I.
Yeah.
We have done many shows with them, and have shows coming up with them that are still a secret, so we can't really talk about it yet. But we will be playing shows with them. For anybody who's listening, you can get excited about that. But
in Seattle,
I wish one day.
Yeah,
one day
that's what Linda said too. One day she wants to come out here and play with Vic and Star Collector, who are in Vancouver. Right. I've never seen them play live, but I would love to. It'd be great, right? Have a festival out here in the Northwest sometime, and
definitely would love to do that. And I definitely want to go. My dream right now, I would love to go down to San Francisco and dream of playing a show with the Rubinoos. That would be the most fantastic experience ever. I would fly to do a show with them. Just that's the only reason, just to fly there and do a show with them in San Francisco. I'll see if I can actually make that happen. We'll see. There are bands around the country that I would like to do shows with, or people that I'd like to play shows with. They're not near each other, unfortunately. Yeah. But but I will eventually.
Your band bucket list.
Yes, exactly.
Good thing to have.
Yes, I want to go play with BB Galini in St. Paul, and
best band name ever.
Yeah, well, you know who she is, don't you?
From the Brady.
Well, not everybody does.
When I heard it, I was like, oh my gosh, and then I had thought that's from the Brady Bunch, right? And I probably saw the program it was on 20,000 times as a kid, but
right.
But just BB Galini, people don't know who it is. It's funny.
Yeah, that's really something lacking in their childhood if they don't know who that is. But eventually we will be able to do some touring and more touring domestically. But I'm hoping in 2023, as well as going back to Spain, if they will have us, I would like to go to Scandinavia. That's the goal. And I want to play a show with the Yum Yums there. And with Stupidity, our label mates who are in Stockholm. And now I've just put it out into the universe. So now I have to
thing, right?
Make it manifest, as they say. But this is the time for us to do it. This is it. Who knows if the world is going to shut down again? So you gotta jump on it while you can, and while we're all
time to waste. I agree.
Yeah, we're all still standing. So that's the time to do it.
That's great. I want to thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Doing this. It's been fun to talk about the music, your music. Simone Berk from Kid Gulliver. Go get the album, Kismet. I will put links at MrSuave.com on the Modcast homepage to the Bandcamp for you guys and for Red on Red Records. And look for the new single coming soon. And if you're in Providence, or maybe Spain too, right?
Yes, we're right. If you're in Lowell, Mass, we're playing on the 9th. If you're in Providence, we're playing on the 15th. And then if you're in Altura, Valencia, or Madrid, later in the month, you can come see us there.
Well, I would love to do that, but
yes,
I'm afraid it's probably not going to happen this time around. But
not this time. But
again,
maybe we'll plan it in advance next time.
All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your taking the time.
Thank you.
One more big thank you to Simone of Kid Gulliver. You can head over to the Modcast homepage at MrSuave.com. Check out some of the videos of theirs for their songs. They make great videos. They really complement the music. This is all good stuff. You'll want to get a look at that. Also, I've got a link to their Bandcamp page where you can get their album right now. And in a couple of weeks, you'll be able to get their brand new single, Nothing But Trouble. Until then, I'm going to leave you with one more Kid Gulliver track. This is Gimme Some Go. I'm Mr. Suave. Thanks for listening.